last episode of this series, I found an amazing Colombian fast food restaurant, a cigar shop steeped in Florida history, and what might be the best Philly cheesesteak in Orlando. I am taking a ride on the SunRail, Central Florida's commuter train. On this episode, I am visiting the Winter Park and AdventHealth SunRail stations to seek out new adventures. Come along with me. From the Maitland SunRail station, I boarded the train and headed south to Winter Park and Park Avenue, the Rodeo Drive of Orlando. There, I visited two of Winter Park's most famous attractions. One happens to be over 80 years old, and the other houses one of America's most celebrated and collected artists. Just east of the Winter Park SunRail station, at the end of Morse Boulevard, you'll find one of the oldest continuously operating attractions in Central Florida, the Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour. The Winter Park chain of lakes comprises 6 interconnected freshwater lakes surrounding one of Central Florida's wealthiest neighborhoods. The Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour began in 1938 and is now the longest continuously running attraction in Central Florida. The boat tour cruises through 3 of the Winter Park chain of lakes, passing the shores of the majestic homes of Winter Park residents. The tour guide teaches about the history of the lakes and of the Winter Park neighborhoods they surround. Traveling between the lakes, the boats pass through shaded canals covered in local flora, palms, cypress, and great ferns. It's an extraordinary sight. The Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour operates every day of the year except Christmas. I recommend taking the early tour, which starts at 10 a.m. to beat the Florida heat. Don't miss the Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour, just a short walk from the Winter Park SunRail station. Just north of the SunRail station in Winter Park, I visited the Charles Hosmer Morse Museum of American Art. What if I told you this museum houses the largest comprehensive collection of Louis Comfort Tiffany art, glass, lamps, and enamel work in the world? The Morse Museum's highly curated collection of Louis Comfort Tiffany is unsurpassed. Inside is a rare collection of Tiffany lamps in all shapes and sizes. Stunning stained glass windows depicting the seasons and ecclesiastical imagery. One of the most awe-inspiring sights at the museum is the Tiffany Chapel, created for the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago and rescued by the museum founders. This mosaic glass masterpiece must be witnessed in person. The Morse Museum is also home to an extensive American art pottery collection and selected works by famous artists like Rembrandt Peale and Paul Cézanne. Take time to visit the historic treasures preserved at the Morse Museum in Winter Park. It was time to board the train once again, so I embarked to make my way further south to the AdventHealth SunRail station, which is near one of the most beautiful parks in Orlando, and just minutes away from one of the favorite hangouts for audiophiles in Central Florida. Definitely stick around to see that. Around 1.6 miles east of the AdventHealth SunRail station, I decided to visit the semi-tropical oasis known as Leu Gardens. Settled on the southeast shore of Lake Rowena, Leu Gardens contains nearly 50 acres of landscaped grounds and lakes. With meandering trails shaded by 200-year-old oaks and forests of camellias. The Leu Gardens were started by Mr. and Mrs. Harry P. Leu, who in 1936 purchased Leu House and the land. As world travelers, the Leus brought back many exotic plants and seeds for their garden. At the heart of the gardens is Harry and Mary Leu's home, known as the Leu House Museum, which has been meticulously restored and is on the National Historic Register. Guided tours of the Leu House illustrating turn-of-the-century Florida living are available. In 1961, the Leus deeded the house and the gardens to the city of Orlando. At least once a year, something magical happens at the gardens. Fairy doors appear throughout the grounds, and a map of the fairy door locations is given out to every guest visiting the gardens. Don't miss it. A visit to Leu Gardens is a wonderful reason to take a trip to the AdventHealth SunRail station. Just a few minutes south of the AdventHealth SunRail station, you'll find the best record store in Orlando, Rock and Roll Heaven. Located in the area of town known as Ivanhoe Village, Rock and Roll Heaven has the best selection of vinyl LPs and singles in all of Florida. It is a true audiophile and vinyl lover's paradise. The shop opened in 1977, and for vinyl enthusiasts, nothing is more thrilling than finding that one rare item that's been missing from your collection. Some famous people call Rock and Roll Heaven their go-to shop, and this high-profile clientele have left their mark. The restroom walls of Rock and Roll Heaven contain signatures from a who's who of rock and roll. The store itself is a museum of memorabilia, boasting everything from dolls and posters to lunchboxes and board games, laser discs of movies, hard-to-find collectibles, and other oddities. Rock and Roll Heaven carries everything from rock, pop, soul, jazz, disco, you name it. If you love music, put Rock and Roll Heaven in Orlando on your must-visit list. Thanks for sharing another trip on the SunRail with me. In the next episode, I will take you on a visit to the Links and Church Street stations in downtown Orlando. See you next time.